Have you ever wondered how your computer, phone, or TV actually thinks? Behind all the apps, videos, and games, computers only understand two numbers, 0 and 1. The idea of using just 0 and 1 comes from the German mathematician Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz more than 300 years ago. He discovered that any number and even logic itself could be built using only these two symbols. And today, that simple idea powers everything, from smartphones to supercomputers. Computers work using electricity. Imagine a light switch. On means current is flowing, off means no current. We call on as 1 and off as 0. That's the language of computers, called binary. Every text, picture, or video is broken down into billions of tiny ons and offs. But how do we get letters from zeros and ones? Computers use codes where each letter is given a number. For example, the letter A is given the number 65. But the computer doesn't see 65, it only sees binary. 65 is stored as 0, 1, 1, just zeros and ones. That's how typing simple, hello in Notepad, turns into a long chain of binary switches inside your computer. Now look at your computer screen. Everything you see, text, photos, or videos, is made of millions of tiny dots called pixels. When you open Google.com, the text you see on screen is made up of millions of pixels, and each pixel is made up of code in 0 and 1. Each pixel is controlled by binary code. 0 might mean the pixel is off, black. 1 might mean the pixel is on, white. And 01001 might means blue, and 01101 means dark blue. For example, here's a tiny smiley face made of pixels. The ones light up, the zeros stay dark. And together, they form an image. Now multiply this by millions of pixels, and you get the full pictures, movies, and games on your screen. Add more binary numbers and you get colors, brightness, and detail. Sounds are stored by chopping up waveforms into numbers. Again, zeros and ones. So whether you're gaming, streaming, or watching YouTube, it's all binary code at work. All this binary data is handled by the CPU, the computer's brain. Billions of these calculations happen every second. But if it's just zeros and ones, why do we need powerful graphics cards for gaming? Because modern games aren't just one smiley face. They're millions of pixels changing every single frame, often 60 or even 120 times per second. Every shadow, explosion, reflection, and color on the screen must be calculated with zeros and ones. That means billions of binary calculations every second. Old Intel 4004 from 1971 could process about 92,000 instructions per second. Newer Intel Core i9 can process trillions of instructions per second across many cores. The CPU alone would be too slow. So we use the GPU, a graphics processor built to handle millions of pixels at once. That's why high-end games need powerful GPUs. They're pushing binary math to the absolute limit. So remember, every word you read, every sound you hear, every picture you see, is really just millions of pixels and signals made from zeros and ones only, nothing else. From simple calculators to blockbuster video games and artificial intelligence, it all starts here with binary.